In 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, hello, good evening, and thank you for joining Cornell and I for another episode of Let's Talk About It. Tonight, we'll be talking about bias in the criminal justice system. I will be sharing a pre recorded conversation that I had with my husband, Juan Johnson. Um, this is my co host calling me now. Um, I'm going to be sharing a pre-recorded conversation that I had with Juan a couple of months ago about his case. Um, as you guys, some of you guys are aware that I'm not able to talk to the man in Denver because of their policy over there. So we started off and we talked to them for just a little while until they shut it down. They was like, "No, you guys cannot talk," and they thought they was talking about safety things that will jeopardize the safety of the prison, but it wasn't. It was just pertaining to their case. So while we in talks with the warden over there to see if I can finally get them to come back and finish sharing their stories with us, their cases with us, then I have to think of other ways to try to get their stories out. So I don't know what happened to my co-host, but we're gonna wait just a little more, give him a couple of more minutes to call. You guys know how calling from inside of the prisons be, they will shut it down in a minute if they think that it's a third call calling, or you know whatever, they just shut it down. But anyway, let me just go on and just tell you what I've been up to until Cornell called back. So on April 1st, it would be April 1st. um I have written in Angela's fifth. This will be my fifth anthology that I have written in with Angela, and it's in honor of her 50th birthday. 50 years on this earth, and that's a blessing because sometimes nowadays our young people are not living past 18, 19, 20. Some of them are not seeing their 50s, and that's a blessing. So um I would like for you guys, if you can, when the book drop on April 1st on Amazon, go purchase her book. You can either even purchase it from one of the 20 authors that's written in there. I am one of them, so you can call me if you would like to get a copy of the book. I will let you know the price of it once I find out. I truly don't know what's going on with with the system with what's going on over there, because usually Cornell would have had called me back, but he haven't called me back. So I'm gonna just keep going on. Um so I did that. That was the fifth book. I am currently working on my book. How I navigate how I've been coping with grief since the loss of my son. Um well, I'm not gonna say I didn't lose him, but I'm gonna say he since he transitioned for so I'm gonna share how I cope with how I got through the grief, but I have my moments. It ain't like I woke up and then I was just like healed. No. Mm-mm. No, I have my moments. And also so I'm working on that, and that's I'm looking for it to be released in June sometime. So I'm gonna keep you guys updated of what's going on with that, with the process of that, when the book is going to be released. And let me see what's going on. Okay, so I got a message that he's getting ready to call me back. So I'm just waiting on that. Also, if you are in the Atlanta area, let me get that out real quick because I want to make sure I get everybody information out there. If you are in the Atlanta area, April 5th, um, I want you to go join Angela and Samaria and Apostle Kimberly for a prayer breakfast from 8 to 10. Angela will give us some more information throughout the program. Hopefully, I can get her to post it so you guys can join them over there. Learn how to put money into your prepaid account or in a friend. Thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now. Now, I have my co host, Cornell.
Yes, ma'am. How you doing tonight? And thank you for having me. My name's Cornell Drummer, and thank you for having me, ma'am.
You know what? Man, you gonna have another. We gotta have another conversation, okay?
Okay, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Okay.
Me and you gonna have another conversation.
Okay.
Let's do this again. This is my co-host Cornell stepping in.
Okay.
Hey, Cornell.
Oh, hello, ma'am. How you doing tonight, ma'am? Yes, my name is Mr. Cornell Drummer, and I am the co-host of the Let's Talk About It show tonight. And thank you again, ma'am, for having me and for me joining our show tonight. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I don't know what happened with the system, the hanging up, but I was just filling them in what our show is going to be on tonight. We're going to listen to a pre-recording that me and Juan had talked about. So, as you guys know, let me I love doing research. I don't like coming on here and not doing my research because I don't want nobody saying, "Oh, no, that ain't true." Yeah, it is true. So, the United States criminal justice system is, I mean, it's great. It's really biased. And when I was reading it, they were saying that it's bias towards the black man and the Hispanic man, and the ones that really doesn't have no more, as they say, poor people. That's the way they classify it as poor people. Um, they do their sentence harsher than other ethnic groups, as we also know that the the black man and the Hispanic man, hopefully I'm saying that right, don't nobody get upset, are also do more time on wrongful conviction. They also get over sentenced. Their sentence is disproportionate. It's so much stuff we can say about their sentencing. And Cornell and I just want to bring that to the forefront, because this is what we're about. We want to everybody to know what's going on inside the justice system and how they are treated. And a lot of people really don't care, but you need to start caring, because when it come knocking on your door and you don't have nobody to be a voice for someone, or you not pointed in, can't get nobody to point you in the right direction, you need to pay attention. This affects everyone. Everyone. It doesn't matter what nationality you are. Every nationality have someone in prison that has been over sentenced or wrongfully convicted. But statistics shows that it's the number one ethnic groups that's being wrongfully convicted at this time is the African American man, and followed by the Hispanic men, as well as women. We're not going to leave out the women. So, Cornell, do you have anything to add before we jump into this tape?
Right, right. Well, yes, ma'am. Speaking about the judicial impartiality of our system, ma'am. Okay, we know already that our system is broken, and it classifies the plea bargain system, the law parties, how blacks are being convicted by all white juries, how lawyers are being paid off money to help them secure convictions on African Americans, and not just African Americans, but any racial group within the United States. And that our system has turned into a multi-billion-dollar enterprise when it comes to, over-sentencing inmates, individuals in our criminal justice system. And this is a very serious thing, because a lot of people are being wrongfully and disproportionately sentenced to crimes that don't even match the sentence, man. So, tonight, ma'am, I would like to hope and pray that people get something from this show tonight, ma'am, regarding the impartialities and justices within our criminal justice system, ma'am.
Okay. So on that note, I'm going to start the recording that I have prepared, and hopefully you guys can hear him. I have it up, but here we go. Bias in your case.
Yeah, the bias is I was found not guilty of murder, and I sit in prison for the exact same murder that they found me not guilty of.
So how can that be? If you was not found guilty of murder, how can they find you guilty of felony murder? Wouldn't that be considered double jeopardy?
I would think. I've been filing motions with the courts all this time, and they have failed to answer the questions. How can this be? Since I was convicted in September 2011, they have not answered that question since then. And everything that they brought up was that it should have been brought up in direct appeal. But I filed ineffective assistance of counsel on the trial lawyer and on the appeals lawyer, and the appeals court, say that they did their job. They felt that they did their job. That was their strategy. And so everything that I've been bringing to them thus far has been shot down due to the fact that they said that it was took care of within, which is a lie.
Okay, so let's go back just a tad bit. I was reading an article about when you was picking the juror, when the jurors was being seated. Do you find that it was biased in that?
I believe that when the jury was being picked, they had a rally outside the courthouse. The rally was about murder victims, or how to get, it was for commemorating murder victims. And a lot of the things that was spoken of was how to put murders away for life. There was a lot of emotion, a lot of anger towards people was upset. And I just so happened to be on trial for murder. And over half of the jurors was at that rally. And my lawyer seen it, asked the judge to dismiss the jury pool. She wouldn't. And he let her know that my client was not going to get a fair trial. And as you see, I did not get a fair trial.
Okay. I'm gonna end it right there because I want Cornell to
Did your
I want Cornell
legal
to say
team,
any. You have a input on that, Cornell?
make a?
Yes, ma'am, I really
Did
do.
they
man.
question it? Did they question your
From what he's basically saying, ma'am, is that he was given an unfair shot from word say go. Okay, the judge in this case was a biased judge, ma'am. Okay, he just identified the fact that O'Reilly was on the doorsteps of the courthouse, and that some of the juror members in his case were picked by all possibility juror members of the panel to which they picked from. So therefore, that was a violation right there, a constitutional violation, because that's called jury impartiality. That's the fact that a jury should not know about a case, nor should a jury participate like that. So now I understand what the situation is now. The jury is biased toward him, and that because they heard the rally, they are convicting him based upon the judicial publicity in his case, and not the fact that they found no evidence to convict him. So that's why he's saying he was already found not guilty for the real murder, but he was still found guilty for the same case under the lesser included offense, and given a disproportionate sentence, which is capital to life without parole, which is impossible. Why? Because felony murder does not add up to the possibility of life without parole. So he raised this issue of ineffective assistance of counsel on trial lawyer and appellate lawyer on direct appeal. And the appellate court is saying that the lawyers did their job. So the issue is that the jury members in this case was biased. Why? Because there is no jury charge for aggravated robbery in this case. And
Right.
the issue of being simple robbery being mentioned does not elevate to the elements of evidence, man. That's speculation. Speculation is not evidence, man.
Right.
Therefore, he's being convicted with no evidence at all by a judicial judge who is biased, who allowed the jury to continue deliberating when they asked the question, can we find him guilty for capital murder? Why? Because the word robbery was mentioned. but the witness said that he did not rob them. Therefore,
Exactly.
that eliminates the issue of capital murder. Matter of fact, that eliminates the whole process of murder and the issue that he caused the death of the victim
But you see,
or robbed the victim.
right. But you see, I was gonna play some more, but I think I messed up the recording, so I'm gonna just go off because I have his case right here in front of me. It's cases like I was reading this other case, and the person was just sentenced last year of 3 murders. We talked about that in the recording as well. He was sentenced. He pled guilty for 3 murders, and he was given 3 life sentences. Well, he put in for what was a evidentiary hearing because he wanted to
Yes,
say
ma'am.
that the jury, he didn't get a fair trial because of the jury. Well, also Juan put in for a evidentiary hearing for the first thing, for the same thing. Juan was turned down. They denied his, but the other person, they accepted his.
Okay.
So then,
Okay.
and I go on and I'm keep reading, and I was like, okay, so they read it. This guy, the jury found him guilty of killing 3 people, but in Juan's case, they acquitted Juan of murder. So, but this guy had three murders, and he also was charged with an underlying predicate offense, which was robbery, because he was robbing a medical dispensary, and he killed 3 people,
Okay.
and they gave him 3 life sentences. Well, with Juan case, he doesn't have an underlying predicate offense. So when they acquitted him of the actual murder, that means he should have walked out of the courthouse, but he didn't. Just because the judge allowed the word robbery. Let's remember Juan was on trial for murder. He was not on trial for robbery as well. So he didn't have a chance to defend against the robbery charge, and he was not convicted of robbery, and he was not charged with robbery. I have all his paperwork, all of it, and that's what makes me, want to go hard for fighting for wrongful convictions, talking, speaking up, being a voice for men that have been wrongfully convicted after seeing Juan's and also Mr. Legate's case. So I'm real passionate about that. So
Okay.
I mean, it's just mind boggling to me that you have a person that commits 3 murders with an underlying felony, which is robbery, and he pled guilty for it. He got a life sentence.
Yes, ma'am.
Juan, he was acquitted of the murder. The witness said Juan Johnson did not rob me. He was not convicted or given the right to defend against the robbery charge, but the judge let it stand because of the prosecution said robbery. So when the judge gave the jury instruction, he did not give them instruction for he gave them instruction for simple robbery, which is the lowest robbery.
Okay.
Inside,
Okay.
also in the instruction, it doesn't give the victim's name. The robbery was supposed to be for the witness that was on the stand. Mind you, the witness already said Juan Johnson did not rob me. But
Okay.
the jury came back because the judge, they sent out a letter. I have the paper saying that they couldn't get no verdict. So the judge said that if they did not come back with a verdict, that they would have to come back on that Monday. So I guess, did nobody want to come back on a Monday? So hey, we finna go in there and throw all the paperwork together and see what we come up with. They came up with a verdict of guilty of felony murder. But then you have this person over here, mind you, 3 bodies, and he has the underlying predicate offense. He was given life. He went back to court. The judge overturned 3 murders that someone pled guilty to. Sentenced him to 42 years. 42 years, and he got 7 years credit. 7 years credit. That guy is serving, I don't know if he's still where Juan is at, but he was there. And the other man's that was in there on felony murder, that just like Juan, seen him, and he's just sitting over there smiling with his boots kicked up on the seat because he has a date to come home now. Why?
Okay.
Our brothers don't have a date to come home. They doing life without the possibility. Can you you want to jump in now, co-host?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. See, again, the sentence is disproportionate. How? Because he cannot receive a capital life without parole, because that's only to the jury now. Now, mind yourself, he was found guilty for felony murder. The jury found him not guilty for the capital elements, man. Therefore, the state had to waive the capital punishment elements off the table. They could not go to trial with capital punishment. Why? Because he was on trial for only murder. There was no aggravated robbery in the case. So therefore, he cannot be guilty for capital punishment under capital life without parole. Therefore, his sentence is a void judgment. A void judgment means that it can be challenged at any time. Not only that, it's an abuse of the discretion of the trial court judge, because the trial court judge, he encouraged the jury to find Warren guilty. Why? Because he told them, misleading them, that if they did not come back with a verdict, that they would have to come back that Monday. Now, mind yourself, they've already ruled against the murder. So now they came back with felony murder, which is a lesser included offense of the murder. But it's a different element to be proven. And it cannot be proven under the capital elements. So Warren raised ineffective assistance of counsel on direct appeal. He did not raise the insufficiencies of the evidence, nor did he raise that the jury charge was disproportionate and no good. So with that being said, man, I do not know if he challenged anything on his collateral attack, which means that he can come back and raise ineffective assistance of his trial counsel who failed to argue a void judgment. Just because he raised
let me jump in. He did that. He raised that, and they shot him down. He went. The appellate court said that they're gonna let it stand because his counsel, they should have brung it up.
Oh, okay, but that's on direct appeal. He has not challenged the constitutionality of his conviction. He has to challenge that on collateral attack, because the records are not fully developed on direct appeal. You have 2 phases. You have direct appeal, which is a right, and you have collateral attack, which is 1107. So if he raised an effective assistance of counsel on both of his attorneys on direct appeal, now he can come back and raise a constitutional issue of a void judgment on his collateral attack, which is his 1107. That doesn't bar him. He ain't even challenged the conviction yet. He just challenged the direct appeal element. So now, right now, he can come back and challenge that.
As he said, he got all. I got the Court of Appeals papers where they denied him. He said he did all the habeas corpus. He said he
Okay.
did all. He got up all. He did all of that, and then
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
they time barred him.
Okay. So now here it is. I don't know if he filed void judgment disproportionate penalty of the sentence. He can always challenge that because he just identified the fact that he got capital life without parole for an offense that don't carry capital punishment. Therefore, that makes his conviction a void judgment.
Yeah,
I don't know if he challenged that.
And you know, also, I have been really advocating for him, and I have written the DA and the Attorney General. I have written all of them, and I gave them back their case law. I went through Denver case and I gave it back to them, and it says that you cannot convict a person of felony murder without a underlying predicate offense.
Okay.
That means robbery, kidnapping, you had to have a felony to go with it to get felony murder. And you know what they told me? They need more evidence, or they need more to it.
Okay. Well, the jury said we found him not guilty for murder, man. So now if the jury said they found him not guilty for murder, that eliminates the felony elements of the offense. Therefore, there can be no robbery attached to an offense that was dismissed by the jury. So now if there's no robbery element, a misdemeanor robbery cannot elevate any felony murder to capital murder, man. That's by law. That's a misdemeanor. It doesn't elevate to a felony. Simple robbery doesn't elevate to a robbery. Why? Because there is no affirmative finding to the use of a deadly weapon in a simple robbery. Without an element of aggravated affirmative finding of a deadly weapon, there cannot be a felony offense attached to felony murder to make him a capital murder candidate. Therefore, this is why it's a void judgment, because that's too much time for the offense. The jury weighed murder. So therefore, that's a disproportionate sentence. So therefore, judicial impartiality on the court's part, because they now saying that he cannot come back and challenge his conviction. But he can. He can come back and challenge void judgment, which is a disproportionate sentence, because the offense charge, felony murder, is disproportionate to life without the possibility of parole. You can't have that. They don't go together. So that's where he's at.
And you know, I just don't understand how, you know, they always say, use the law, know the law, use the law. But when you give them back to them, if a person of color, give them back their law, they, oh no, well, what is that? What is that? Well, your lawyer should have brung it up. But you let somebody else give them the law, give them back their law, they gonna go in there and they gonna make it right. They gonna turn around and make it right. You know, that is just, you know, our system is just so, it's just so unfair. It's just unfair.
Okay. Well, you know what, man? In a situation like that, man, for an African American man, I'm not in the same position. A lot of us in the same position. You have to push everything off the table that you have challenged and come back and refile your case. That's what you have to do, and take it right back to them on a collateral attack, which is 1107, and challenge, in his case, a void judgment. And that will give him an evidentiary hearing. Why? Because the sentence is disproportionate to the offense. And that will give him an evidentiary hearing to determine whether or not the capital punishment is disproportionate to the offense. So that's why I said I don't know if he ever challenged that issue, because he can challenge it under an abuse of the discretion of the judge and in a favor assistance of counsel. Or he can just challenge it by itself, a void judgment, a disproportionate sentence, man.
And then, you know,
I don't know if he ever challenged it.
And I'm gonna ask him that. He probably did. I messed up the whole little recording thing. I gotta figure out what I did to it. But they also Denver also had revised the felony murder law. They said it was they made it unconstitutional now. But if you was sentenced before them revising it, it doesn't do you no good because it's not retroactive for the ones that was sentenced prior to 2017. After
Okay.
2017, you're able to what is it? It's second degree murder. It's not
Okay.
felony murder is no longer first degree, now it's second degree murder.
Okay.
And I think
So,
the
with that being
time is
said,
40 years. I think they have to serve for 40 years on that.
okay. So, with that being said, this is a new law. Okay, that's not retroactive. Now, even though they're taking it and changing it from first degree felony to second degree felony, he don't have to use the retroactivity of the law. All he has to do is use the language of the law and show how at the time of his conviction that the language of the law elevated his offense to a capital element offense, which means that that's unconstitutional. That's like a double-headed sword, man. If you can't
Right.
get me this way, you can get me this way.
Right, because I know he challenged, he did double jeopardy, and they shot that down as well. I just wish that that you was able to talk to them as like we do them, able to talk to the men from Texas, so they can so you can actually hear what what they dealing with over there.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Well, I just heard him a while ago when he said that, courts allow for the jurors who sit on the doorsteps of the courthouse to sit in his trial. That's judges, jury impartiality, man. That's jury, what's that, publicity. And
Right.
that's not good.
And
So
the
they couldn't sit on the trial, so that's a violation.
The DA put that on. So I heard that you have 1 minute to so
yes, ma'am.
I guess you and Mr. Holiday, is Mr. Holiday still around?
Yes, ma'am. We right here.
Okay, tell me. I'm waiting to hear from him.
Okay, well here we go. We're gonna start right now.
Okay.
Okay. We're gonna call both of them at the same time?
Yes. You gonna call me and he gonna call me on the other one?
Yes, ma'am. We're ready right now.
Okay, I'm waiting. I'll be here talking.
Okay, we're ready.
Okay.
The caller has hung up.
While I wait for my co-host to call back, and Mr. Holiday, he's he's new. I just met him probably a month ago. He's in Texas. I think he got 60 years for receiving stolen goods. Yep, 60 years for receiving stolen goods. So when they call back, we're gonna talk to Mr. Holiday. But let me finish promoting the Queen. Angela, can you put up your flyers for the book and also for the prayer breakfast and the book tour? That's okay. She doesn't have it. So if you guys not following the crew or let's talk about it, go over there and follow us, and you will see the information um over there. Also, you guys, oh, she's having a town hall meeting on her other network, and I'm gonna give you guys the information on that. You have to call in if you want to get in on the conversation. The last one she had, oh my God, Patrice and our new host did an excellent job, and I mean, you guys, you're gonna have to call in. I'm gonna put the information up in the
Or
group.
press 2 to learn how to thank you for using Securus. You may start the conversation now.
Cornell.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, I was just letting everybody know about the town hall meeting that Angela is getting ready to have. She's going to go from, I think I got a flyer so I can read it. Yes, every fourth Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which will be 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And it's called Current State of America. You guys have to get in on this conversation with her. You can call in. Her call-in number is 605-562-0444 or 717-734-6904. And you're going to push your access code 5461150 £. That'll be your access code. And then you will press 1 with the pound. And if you want to talk, if you want your voice to be heard, push *2 so they can see your hand raised, and just hold on and have your questions ready. You don't want to miss that. It starts in April and it's going to go all the way through September. And her title again is The Current State of America. You guys don't want to miss it. Join in. I will be posting it on my Facebook, Instagram, so to keep you guys up to date. Okay, co-host, where's he done backed out on us?
No, ma'am. He was calling and it said an answer machine, so I'm going to give him this phone right here. I'm going to give him this number right here. Come on. Hello.
Hey, Mr. Holiday.
How you doing, Miss All right.
You said, were you calling the right number?
Yeah, I was calling the right number.
Well, you see, okay, go ahead. Tell us a little about you.
Okay, first of all, my name is Teliola Joe Holiday. I'm formerly incarcerated in San Antonio, Texas, at the Median State Jail Unit.
Okay. That's it. That's all you wanna tell us.
Okay, now I want to talk about my case about this work application I received in 2013. I've been falsely convicted. I've been falsely convicted of a burglary application charge. So what I did, I went to jury trial, and I ended up getting found guilty, and I got 60 years, which I felt like it was the high punishment phase. I mean, a high charge, because the state of Texas never did prove the burglary application charge, but they proved the lesser included offense was me going to the pawn shop, pawning stolen merchandise. But the reason why they gave me that high charge because I've been sent to the penitentiary and I've been down, so they used my trials against me. But during the guilty and innocent phase of my trial, they had a witness come on the jury stand, and this is by the name of Guy Montgomery. This is the same witness that said that he picked me in a photo spread the day that the burglary supposed to have happened. But when the day the burglary had happened, the stuff had got pawned. So what's to say they're trying to say that I pawned it? So who's to say anybody could have pawned that? They couldn't never prove that I actually went inside the house and did a burglary. But the same dude, the guy Montgomery, got on the witness stand at trial, he was the same dude that picked the photo spread. So during the cross-examination, a lawyer cross-examination asked him certain questions, and she asked him again. She asked these questions twice. Was that you showed the client the day that you seen Brother Rogers out? Was that my client that you seen the day that this burglary had happened? He said he couldn't remember. He wasn't focused. So she said, I'm going to ask you one more time. Was this the client that you seen today or the burglar application? He said, I don't think it was him. I can't remember because it's been a long time. At that point right there, Miss Shanette, I feel like I should have had a lit trial, or I should have got found not guilty of the burglar application trial. They should have found me guilty of the lesser included offense, which was stolen merchandise, because I actually pawned some of my name that I bought off the street that was stolen.
Okay, I have a question for you, real quick. What is the sentencing for someone in Texas that receives stolen goods?
It depends on how much the merchandise costs. And at that time, it supposed to be a claim. The judge, when she granted the motion for the list to be for that charge, it was going to be a class A misdemeanor, which is county jail time.
So would you say probably like a couple of months, like 6 months?
6 months.
And
Like
so
6 months to the year county.
but they gave you 60 years for
They gave me 60 years for burglar habitation.
and that's because they enhanced it by using priors.
Yes, ma'am. And the priors that they had used against me was 20-some years old. So my lawyer never challenged that.
And I had looked up if they can go back. They can only go back 10 years. I believe that's what they said. In the state of Texas, they said they can only go back 10 years. And you said that the last time that you was ever came in contact with the law was 20 years. So they really
20 years ago.
they really went back and from 6 months and they gave you 60 years.
Yeah, because I went to trial.
Wow.
So during that course of the time, I ended up going back to court the next day. So now I'm waiting on the jury to come back with a verdict. So during that time, of course, I think my lawyer there was talking about the LOP law, which is the law of parties, something that should never brought up. Because if you bring up the law of parties, that means it was somebody else involved. And I'm the only one that got convicted of the crime. I'm the only one that got convicted of this crime. So how you gonna bring up the LOP law? That's what I was trying to figure out. And then at the jury panel, I had all body jury. I want no color on my fields at all.
So you didn't have no peers, no one of your
peers at all. At all. I had 5 black ladies was all in the pool. One of them got on and stood up and said that she was kin to a Holiday, because they asked her if anybody kin to this last name by the last name of Holiday. And one lady got up and she said, I'm kin to the Holiday. So they struck her. And after that, they struck everybody else that was black on the jury. So they ain't give me everything else was like without my peers.
So do you think that it was bias in your case? Like if it was someone of another ethnic group, that they wouldn't have got 60 years for receiving stolen merchandise?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Because I think they over-sentenced me.
Yeah, oh yeah, that is off 6 months. How you get 60 years from 6 months?
Because the burglar habitation don't actually have no period, no 60 years, no way. It was 2 to 10, but I ended up going trial and fighting and used my enhancements. And they convicted me on my prize because there wasn't no evidence ever leading me into the burglar habitation. They got me because I was pawn something that came out that house. So actually, I should have been found not guilty of the burglar habitation charge, but guilty of the lesser included offense, which was stolen merchandise.
So also, I want to say this. I thought that they couldn't use lineups anymore.
That I wouldn't know, because because I feel like when the dude picked me in the photo spread, I was already locked up and incarcerated on another charge, and I feel like they should have did a live lineup while I was in the county jail, because who's to say that the officer or the detective tampered with the photo spread? I wasn't there, or my lawyer wasn't present. So they could have been going around and showing my picture. Other burglars, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if it coached this out of witness to pick me in a photo spread or not. So my lawyer failed to challenge that doing trial.
You know, that's a lot of people that I talked to said that they didn't have their representation with their lawyers um wasn't anything, that they really didn't fight for them. Did you have a paid lawyer or did you have a public defender?
I had a paid lawyer.
And he didn't raise that?
Oh, man. She didn't raise that.
Oh, wow. So what are you doing now to fight your case?
Okay. I'm going to bring something else up and I release out to the appeal. And during the guilt and innocent phase of trial, it was an officer got on the stand and started talking about extreme offenses, which that's influencing the jury mind. You know what I'm saying? That's making them think that everything else that the state was trying to prove that like I done it. But at the same time, this officer that got a witness saying she read an out of court statement from another person that's saying that she supposed to have seen me at a burglary. But this is the same lady that's saying this here, she wasn't never in trial to get cross-examined. So I feel like they violate my constitutional right, because I got a right to cross-examine all of my fellow fears. She was never on the witness stand. And that same case that they brought up in the sentencing phase, they dismissed the charge. So why would you allow to bring something up in front of the jury in the sentencing phase, then you turn back around and dismiss the charge, and then the lady that's saying that she seen me, y'all reading her out of court statement, that's a law. Y'all can't. She not here to get cross-examined. So she never showed up to court. So I feel like that was a violation of my constitutional rights, right there. And they ended up finding me guilty. The DA asked for the high end of the sentencing, and they gave me 60 years.
Whew.
For burglary habitation.
Wow.
And I got found guilty. And I feel like at that time, my lawyer should have asked for a new trial, and she failed to do that. So I feel like she was ineffective, not only in the guilt and innocent phase of trial, but the punishment phase of trial too.
Well, you know, I don't mean to cut you off, but we have 8 minutes to go, and I'm gonna have to have you come back so we can finish this conversation. And call me tomorrow at 1:00.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And
Okay.
yeah, so we got 8 minutes, and I want Cornell to jump in right quick before we have to end our show. But we're gonna have to have you back so we can finish our conversation.
Okay, ma'am.
All right,
Okay, ma'am.
thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Okay, Cornell, we got 7 minutes. So I wanted you to I don't know if you heard Mr. Holliday what he said, or if you know his case. I want you to go ahead and respond to it.
Okay, ma'am. He was charged with a burglary of a habitation. Okay, but he only got caught with pawning some stolen goods. So the state indicted him by using an enhancement in order to elevate his case to a high degree offense, which means that instead of giving him lesser included offense punishment, they gave him first degree 60 years for the offense of burglary of a habitation, as opposed to possession of a stolen goods by theft. So with that being said, man, now here it is. His sentence too is disproportionate to the offense charged, or the offense that should have been charged. So now he was given ineffective assistance of counsel. Why? Because the fact that his attorney failed to challenge the jury's charge and show that there was insufficient evidence to find him guilty for the offense of a burglary of a habitation. So that's where he's at right now with his case. He's trying to find out how did he get so much time for an offense that they didn't prove beyond a reasonable doubt.
Well, we all know that. That's just crazy. And when I did my research, they only supposed to go back 10 years for to enable to use the enhancements. And Mr. Holliday said that his was 20 years. I heard a lot of that is going on as well. You know, I talked to Mr. Kemp out of Denver, and as we know, he was only what they charged him for only carried 6 years prison sentence, but the judge recalled, I guess he threw out the jury verdict and he sentenced him, even though he had a jury trial. And Mr. Kemp was sentenced to life without the possibility of life with the possibility of parole, plus 193 years on top of that life sentence for a crime that only carries 6 years. So we see a lot of that happening, and yes, there's a lot of bias in the criminal justice system towards our African American men and our brown brothers. But how can we change this? What can we do? What can we do to change it? How can this be reformed? How can they write this? How can it be did? How can it be reformed? Can you tell me that in like 4 minutes? Or 2 minutes, because then we gotta go.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. In a lot of cases like the Texas Law Parties, the enhancement allegations, the jury process, the blacks being convicted by all white juries, and issues with judicial impartiality of, being over sentenced and overly incarcerated. These issues are already on the presser, on the tablets. on the constitutional ballots. It's just the fact that these court officials, these judges, these district attorneys, these lawyers are not actually complying with the rule of law. So now issues like this has to be challenged through advocacy in order to bring these issues back to the floor of the Texas lawmakers, to have them to enact laws that make sure that these judicial court judges, these lawyers, these district attorneys enforce the law, the rule of law, because it's disproportionate. Not only is it disproportionate, it's judicial impartiality, because too many people are being wrongfully and overly convicted by judicial impartiality of jury members, of judges, of district attorneys, of attorneys being paid, to help the court get convictions, as opposed to representing them in their best interest, man. So yes, man, we would have to challenge our constitutionality by filing a petition to the Supreme Court, to have the Supreme Court to come down and acknowledge the fact that a lot of constitutional rights are being violated by the lower courts. And that's what we have to do. We have to advocate for what we call nothing but the truth. We have to advocate for nothing but justice within our criminal justice system, man. And that's what we have to do. And ask for all of those who have been wrongfully and overly convicted to be given the trials.
Right. So.
And that's what we have to do, man.
On that note, we got 2 minutes left. You know what, Cornell? Go ahead and close us out, because I know I'm going to use my voice to speak up against injustice. And I'm going to also drink my water. And I'm going to also stay in my lane. But most of all, I'm going to use my voice. This is wrong what they doing. Go ahead, Cornell. Go ahead and end this.
Okay, well, first of all, I want to thank Mrs. Angela Thomas-Smith, the Crew Podcast, for allowing us this opportunity to have our voices heard. Tonight's show is nothing but the truth, judicial impartiality, which leads to wrongful convictions and over sentencing of individual African Americans and our brown brothers within our criminal justice system. So for those of you who are listening to this podcast tonight, we ask for you to stand up and have your voices heard, to advocate for real justice, not just for people who are just raising voices just to be raising the voice for donations and stuff like this. We're asking for real voices to come out and stand up and to address our lawmakers and to have them to address these court officials, these judges, these lawyers, and have them to come and do the rule of law the way the rule of law was written by our forefathers. So we thank you very much for coming on to listen to our show tonight, and we ask that you come back and join us again soon as we come back for April the 3rd. And we thank you very much for joining us. So thank y'all very much, man. And thank you very much, co-host, for allowing us this opportunity to have our voices heard, man. Let's talk about it.
Thank
you
guys.
very much.
Thank you guys as well. And until then, you guys stay safe and stay blessed. Love you.